welcome back to the program. It's great to see you, man. We're going to see major displays of differences in leadership styles between Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump. But since you know the man so very well, could you elucidate for us what are those differences?
Well, Benny, first and foremost, Donald Trump can put together a comprehensive sentence, right? He can walk up a flight of stairs without falling down, right? No one has to direct him off of the stage and ask permission. Can you imagine if Donald Trump had asked permission? Should I go this way? Is it okay? I mean, this guy's the boss. That's the difference, right? Joe Biden has been such an unmitigated failure that, and listen, Donald Trump is a boss of bosses, that when you put the two of them next to each other, Donald Trump holds a press conference on his first day in the Oval, and the press ran out of questions because he just said, hey, give me some more, right? And when you watch that North Carolina thing, the guy asked him a question. He goes, I like this guy. They came off the plane. Trump takes questions. They go somewhere else. Trump takes questions. The press doesn't know what to do. He's running them ragged. And now what we're seeing is Donald Trump is going to be doing some overseas travel. He's in North Carolina this morning. He's in California tonight. He's doing another stop on Saturday in another part of the country, which I don't want to get in front of him on. But look, the truth is, this guy has a lot of work to do in just 4 short years. Joe Biden's entire objective was to hide from the media, to let his staff make the decisions, and to let someone else run the country. Very different leadership style.
As you are and have crafted White Houses and White House teams for President Trump and crafted so much of his message, his approach seems to be radical transparency, where in radical access, and there's no arguing with it when you get a chance to ask Donald Trump questions. Corey, we are on our third press conference of the day. And what is it? It's noon. Donald Trump's done 3 press conferences outside of the White House, on the tarmac on the plane, and then during the hurricane disaster relief. That is unprecedented act. Donald Trump in this hour, since we've been live, Mr. Lewandowski, Donald Trump has taken more questions than Joe Biden took in 4 years.
It's exactly right, Benny. And you know what? He loves it. He loves the questions. And here's what he said. I'm going to sign, by the way, huge news. I'm going to sign an executive order he talked about of getting rid of FEMA. Okay. By the way, who thinks FEMA is working? This is an organization that's got like $60 billion of fraud, waste, and abuse, and they manage all the DEI grants that have gone over the last 4 years. So getting rid of that organization sure sounds like a good idea to me. Maybe that falls under Doge. But then don't forget, when he's done here in North Carolina, he's got on the plane. He's going to fly to California. You know, with him and Gavin Newsom, he's going to do another press conference. You know that's coming, right? Hopefully, he's going to hold him accountable. Then he's going to tour some more. And then he's going to fly again from California. I expect Donald Trump to finish up tonight at about 2 a.m. Pacific time, which is about 5 a.m. Eastern time. That's the kind of hours that this guy's keeping.
I'm not a betting man, Corey, but will Donald Trump call him new scum to his face?
100%, right? I mean, look, did you see what he did at the Davos thing yesterday when he calls out the Bank of America CEO and Jamie Dimon? These guys are such bad guys, and Donald Trump doesn't care. There's some luxuries of being in a second term. You don't have to worry about running again, even though Andy Ogles thinks that we're going to file for a third term. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Who knows? But I will say Donald Trump called these guys out right to their face yesterday, and it made them uncomfortable, and I love it.
It was wild. We were screaming about it, Corey. We were screaming. That was probably the mic drop moment. There were many, but that was the mic drop moment. Maybe stop debanking conservatives. And now my entire feed is filled with people with debanking stories about Bank of America. How utterly humiliating for them. They had to turn off the comments on their post where they lied about debanking conservatives. Do you know stories like that?
Oh, not only do I know them at Bank of America, but I was debanked at UBS. I had a relationship with them for 18 years. It was great during the Trump years. Donald Trump leaves and they say, hey, Corey, guess what? After 18 years of being a valued client and probably making a lot of money off of me, they said, your business is no longer welcome here. And if you don't withdraw whatever you have in your measly accounts in the next 15 seconds, right, we're just going to issue you a check and be done with you. I said, this isn't even possible. And they said, well, we're a private institution. We can do what we want. That's what they've done to conservatives. And so, listen, I would have relished 4 years back-to-back Trump administration, so a total of 8. I relish this even more, Benny, because we are so much stronger and better positioned starting on Monday of this week to be successful, to hold the bureaucracy accountable, to hold these unelected individuals accountable, and to remember what these people did to us. And look at the first 4 days, deportations, the pardons of the January 6ers, so many other great things we're doing. Trump is at a breakneck pace that no administration's ever seen.
Since you brought it up, I was planning on asking about it, but since you brought it up, Andy Ogles from Tennessee says, hey, why not a third term? Any commentary on that, Corey?
Listen, I love Andy. I've known him, and in full disclosure, Andy used to work for me, so I think he's a really smart guy. Look, I like that piece of legislation. I don't know if it's constitutional, but look, here's a better piece of legislation, Benny. Some really smart congressman should go and say, Donald Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. Okay, what are we waiting on? We can rename the Ronald Reagan Airport. It used to be National Airport. It's now Ronald Reagan. I love Reagan. Go put Donald Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. We got the votes in the House. We got the votes in the Senate. I know a guy's going to sign it named Donald John Trump. Let's get it done to memorialize what this man's been able to achieve for this country.
All right. So, okay, I mean, it's very interesting. It's like a lot of people are saying, well, they did sabotage his first term, and they effectively ran hoax after hoax after hoax. The state did to President Trump, round number one. And if you speak with anybody in the administration, I know you know them all. Like, it's really over the last 4 years how crippling Russiagate was to President Trump's first term. And what a job they did on him. What a con job they did on the president entering office. So unbelievably nasty. So magnanimous for Donald Trump to be able to look Obama in the face and like laugh and chuckle and pat him on the back. The magnanimity of that moment, really remarkable. But still, it's like they really did sabotage term number one. They really did.
They did. And did you see Brennan on MSNBC this week? When they asked him about the fact that the president has pulled the security clearance, he said, no. The letter that we signed said it had all the hallmarks of Russian good information, not disinformation. I mean, these guys just make stuff up. It's amazing. And I love the fact that Trump pulled Fauci. By the way, I'm sure your listeners have seen this. He's already pulled Fauci's security detail, just did it. He's pulled Bolton security detail. Listen, here's the thing. These guys lied to the American people. Anthony Fauci lied to the American people and then tried to rewrite history saying, I didn't close any schools. I never told anybody to stay home. I never said to you that this wasn't a Chinese virus that came out of there. We're not sure. This guy is a total fraud. And today, just like almost every other American, myself included, you drive yourself around in your own vehicle and you don't get a limousine service at the taxpayer expense.
Yeah, that's right. So Dr. Fauci, we have had members of Congress on our show saying this guy is not off the hook. First off, you shouldn't have to take advice from a doctor that's gotten the presidential pardon for potential crimes. That seems like a bad setup, right? You don't want to trust that doctor. If a doctor needs a presidential pardon, you probably shouldn't be listening to him. But members of Congress on our program, Corey, saying, no, we are going to call him in. He is now going to be forced to answer questions along with Liz Cheney, along with J6 committee. And if they lie to us, they're going to get fresh referrals to the DOJ for crimes. Do you agree with that process?
1,000%. And listen, Rand Paul has been the member who has been like a dog with a bone on this thing. And now that he's the chairman of the full committee, he has the luxury to use his subpoena power to bring Fauci back in, to ask him questions under oath. And he no longer has the ability, because he accepted that pardon, to plead the Fifth Amendment. So I love this fact that Fauci's going to still be held accountable. I mean, you're the highest paid government employee in America. You lied. You cost Americans thousands, tens of thousands of lives. No accountability whatsoever. We're living high by having a black car outside with armed guards to protect you while you are lying to the people. I can't wait for him to be brought back in front of Congress and have to tell the truth.
I don't think that anybody knew that we were spending $12 million a month on Dr. Fauci's security.
It's insane. Actually, no, that is insane. Even by government standards, that's lunacy, right? And these people who are being protected, why is John Bolton, look, hey, John, shave your mustache. You don't really know who you are, okay? It's like a disguise, Get rid of the walrus look. You shave your mustache. You walk down the street. Some guy says, that guy kind of looks familiar, but I can't be Bolton. He doesn't have the mustache, right? But boom, I just say the Secret Service, any kind of possible concerns they have. Done.
The Lorax from Dr. Seuss. I think that would be mine. Like, it looks just like the Lorax, right? It looks just like a Dr. Seuss character. Why are we spending that? Nobody knew this. Nobody knew. Like, these guys are getting all this. John Bolton needs Secret Service? Why? Like, right? I don't understand. It just seems like at some point, it's how much taxpayer dollars can we set on fire like the Joker?
Well, look, you're right. Brian Hook, look, the story goes, and what I've read is that Bolton got woken up at 12:01 from a Secret Service detail. They got him out of his slumber. He came down his, kerchief and hat. and said, hello, can I help you? And they said, sir, we've got a problem. What's that? I'm under, do I have a real threat? Yes, sir. Your detail is gone in 8 hours. Good luck to you. Have a good night. And that was it. I mean, and then they're out there ripping the stuff out of his house, his cameras and all the other things that they were doing. So, hey, tough it out, buddy. Welcome to a new world order.
Okay, so let's talk about that really quickly, Corey. So what we're seeing right now from the Trump administration is just pure shock and awe. It is clearly ruffling a lot of, clearly there's like people who are in total panic, but it seems like a strategy, perhaps a strategy that you helped craft, because it seems very much your style, because the left doesn't know what targets to hit. I've never seen them so disorganized. I've never seen the left so incapable of actually attacking and landing any legitimate punches. They seem utterly demoralized and then frozen in panic. Is this the strategy of the Trump White House?
Shock and awe. You hit it right on the head. Now, look, the left got a little bit of a victory yesterday when some lunatic leftist federal judge said, I'm going to suspend the president's EO on birthright citizenship. Okay, fine. That's fine. By the way, we knew that was coming. 200 plus EOs. What are we seeing for the first time since the Eisenhower administration? Military aircraft are flying people who don't belong in this country out of this country. Okay. Who doesn't think that's a good idea? We have made a promise to the American people. Donald Trump campaigned on it, and now we're fulfilling it. We're going to get the worst out first. You're seeing doors getting kicked in. You saw it up in Boston. You saw these guys say, hey, F you, Trump. We love Obama. We love Biden. Hey, do you think those are the guys in the country with the face tattoos that we actually want hanging around your daughter's school? Of course not. These guys are going. ICE has their handcuffs taken off, and we're putting them on the bad guys. We're deporting the bad guys. This is a historic event that Donald Trump has told his team, we're going to go and implement this. That's what we promise. Your communities will be safer. We're going to close the border, and we're going to have a great country once again.
Yeah, that's going viral right now. The guy saying, I'm not going back to Haiti, F Trump. I'm not going back to Haiti, F Trump. And then followed up this morning with this post from the White House, which is such an alpha move. The post from the White House showing the military C-17 loading up criminal aliens, deporting them back home. What energy, Corey.
It's amazing. By the way, Benny, I give credit to Secretary of State Rubio for helping make this happen. The Tom Homan, Stephen Miller's, the entire Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense, the support that the president has put in place to make this happen has been unprecedented. We didn't have this support in Trump 1.0. Everybody now is fundamentally aligned. You think that Rex Tillerson and John Kelly and these guys are going to do this? Of course not. But you've got incoming secretary, hopefully very soon, Pete Hegseth, right? You've got Marco Rubio in a position. You've got staff who learned in the Trump 1.0 what we had to do, and we're ready on day one. And this work right here, these planes being loaded with people who shouldn't be in this country, the worst who are going out first, is something that's making our country safer. ICE is on point right now. CBP is on point right now. Tom Homan is out breaking doors down himself, maybe with his head, because that's how hard-headed this guy is. I love him. Just go hard, Tommy. Keep going.
What's your message to any? And is this Carolyn Levitt's post? Oh, this is great. I mean, to see a post like this, back to the original post, please, from the White House press secretary. Deportation flights have begun. This is the first thing at the top of my feed this morning at 6 a.m., Corey. It's like I'm living in a dream, man. It's amazing.
Listen, it's very simple, Benny. If you're in this country illegally, we will find you. We will deport you. If you're thinking about coming to this country and it's illegal, do not come. The border is closed. You will be stopped. Stay in your home country. The CBP One app has been shut off. We are not taking mobile applications for people who we don't know. If you're a military-age man and you think you're going to sneak across the border, you missed your window. The Biden administration is no longer here. Do not come. I promise you, you will not like the journey and where we send you. We're going to put you back on the plane. And if your home country won't take you, we'll put you in another place that won't be as nice.
Antarctica. Why not? We want to explore the Arctic. So you have been doing an enormous amount of work, I know, behind the scenes, making sure that President Trump's cabinet is confirmed. I'd love to have you tell us as much as you can about your knowledge about upcoming votes. Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth tonight at 9 p.m. in the Senate. Are we going to get a confirmation there, Corey?
Look, Pete's going to go through. I was with him over the weekend, had some time to spend with him and his family. He's eminently qualified for this. Look, we're losing the rhinos. Is anybody surprised by that?
Yeah.
You know, these are the same people who voted for Obama's choices and Biden's choices, but they won't vote for Pete. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. But here's where we are. The Republicans are going to, by and large, hold firm. J.D. Vance, Vice President Vance, may have to make the deciding vote, and that's perfectly fine. Pete Hegseth is going to get in, and he's going to reform the Department of Defense. Bessent is going to go through. You know, we continue to see. Look, what bothers me, Benny, is this. John Radcliffe got 75 votes yesterday from the U.S. Senate, but they held him for 30 hours. Marco Rubio went through on a 99-0, which I think is fantastic, but John Radcliffe, eminently qualified, was the DNI in the Trump 1-0, goes in, is nominated for DCI, Director of Central Intelligence. They hold him for 30 hours and they vote for him 75-25. This is just politics. You know, what they should be doing is giving President Trump, his senior leadership team, his security team, his national defense team on day one. We're already 5 days in. And look, you know, they're saying, well, we're going to stay all weekend. Wow. What a profile in courage. The U.S. Senate has to work all weekend. Oh, my God. Right. And so we're going to make votes at 3 o'clock in the morning. Give me a break. These guys are going through in bipartisan support. They're non-controversial by and large. They are eminently qualified. Scott Bessent, Doug Collins, Pam Bondi, right? They're holding Pam for like 10 days. It's just crazy talk. Get these people in their positions. Let them do their job so we can get back to work for the American people.
You're a campaign guy, and you know states and their electorate really well, and you know the MAGA base as good as anyone. Helped create the MAGA base. Alaska cannot be happy with Lisa Murkowski right now. Any message to Lisa Murkowski?
You know, it's such a hard place. Even when we beat her in the primary the last time, she came back into that write-in campaign, if you remember. So, you know, it's a really hard place. Running for a statewide office in Alaska is like running for a small town mayor, except the geographic area is 1,000 times bigger than anything you've ever seen. So you only need like 130,000 votes to get elected statewide in that state. It's just that the state is bigger than the state of Texas. And so it's so difficult. That's why you see some of these mayors that try and run up there. Look, Mike, Big Mike, Too Tall Mike, we call him, right? The governor up there, he'd be a fantastic candidate to run against her. I don't know if he would, but if he would, I'd be happy to help support Governor Dunleavy up there. He's been a great friend of President Trump, and I know someone who the president respects enormously. That being said, you know, it's so dishonest that Lisa Murkowski and Collins up in Maine, you know, oh, we're so outraged by Pete Hegseth from the fake lies that the left has put in place. That's what this has been, right? Completely unproven fake lies. But when it's on the other side, they give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Look, I didn't hear the outcry when the former second gentleman of the United States was sleeping with a nanny. Where's that story?
That's right. Or beating his girlfriends, right?
Right, in front of public and knocked her down, right? Nobody ever says anything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, so we can expect everything from a landscape. Just very quickly here, from a landscape, is there anything that you're concerned about next week? Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK.
Yeah, look, I think Kash is an incredible, and again, a friend of mine. He's an incredibly smart individual. He's going to go through there. They'll rough him up a little bit, I'm sure. Look, I think Tulsi and RFK have a little bit of a harder time. Neither really have that conservative base. Both have been former Democrats, and you know they're going to have to articulate whether it was the trip overseas to see Assad or RFK's statements on some of the things, particularly the vaccines. Which, listen, anybody who doesn't want their kids to be healthier is insane, right? When RFK's message as it comes to getting those chemicals out of our food hits spot on. But they're going to want to go. I think RFK gets through. I am very, very confident on Kash. I think Tulsi's going to get roughed up a little bit. But the president and his team and us on the outside are all in making sure he has the team in place and very quickly.
Excellent. Corey, it is always so high energy. It's like when I get a chance to speak with you, it's like, oh, obviously this is how the White House is being run. Now it actually makes sense. Now all this landscape makes perfect sense and how that so much can be done in 3 days. It's been 3 days. Quickly and finally, RFK, MLK, JFK documents. That shocked the world. Nobody can believe Trump actually went through with it. What's going to be in there?
Look, I can't wait to see it, right? I've seen everyone has seen so many things and all the conspiracy theories. I love the fact, what a set of cojones on Trump. He's like, hey, this is a big one. Oh, and by the way, give this pen to Bobby, would you? I mean, it's just like, oh my God. Like, hey, I just declassed your uncle and your father getting assassinated and, MLK Jr. Oh, by the way, it's kind of a cool pen. You might want to hold this one. Hey, give this one to Bobby. I'm like, oh my God. Like nobody could do this stuff. And I love it because it follows up, Benny, on what Donald Trump said. I'm going to make a promise. I'm going to fulfill it. In the first term, he said he was going to do it. There was a lot of promises made that weren't fulfilled because the deep state was there. This second term is very, very different. And you're going to see big things happening from Donald Trump because he is completely empowered with a mandate, 312 electoral votes to come to Washington, D.C. and break this place in half.
And Epstein, Diddy lists, those things, those people are still around, right? So it's like different because those people are still living. One of them is a U.S. president, Bill Clinton. Are we going to see the declassification of those things?
Sure, I hope so. And listen, I think if Cash becomes the FBI director, I think we're going to see officers back on the streets. We're going to see what the government has been doing to target these individuals through the FBI. Let's stop pretending that every guy at the FBI is a good guy except the top. Okay, it's just not true. Okay, they've been targeting Americans for a long time, spying on us, tracking us where they shouldn't be. So look, I'm excited for Cash. And look, maybe someday, and I kind of half kid about this, Cash, maybe if you ever maybe get in, right? The only ask I would ever have is show me all the shit they've been spying on me on. Like, show me my file, maybe. So I don't think I can do that. I said, fine, but just tell me how much crazy stuff is in there. Because because I'm a Trump guy and have been from day one, before he ever came down the escalator, the FBI has weaponized against us and used their badges and their guns to go after American citizens. And it's shameful. And I hope that a swift and severe penalty is coming if they actually broke the law.
Yes, please. We want to keep pushing for it because we don't want it to get lost. We don't want to get lost in the shuffle. The way you actually increase the faith from the American people in these agencies is to just be honest with us, and the transparency is the first step, right? Just be honest with us about what's going on and what you've done. And America's a forgiving country, and especially if we can hold people accountable, I think that's the only way, actually, that you get people back on the side of federal law enforcement and believing the FBI and Department of Justice. You said Donald Trump for Mount Rushmore. My team found this photo. I wonder, just in closing here, do you agree with this location in Mount Rushmore?
Look, I think it actually looks like it's already meant to be. Right? It's almost there. Like if you look, there's a little hair right there on the top. If you look at it closely, we could expedite this thing. Look, we're sending all this friggin' money to the Ukraine. How about we spend something in our own country? Well, how much does that cost to get a couple guys up there to chisel something? We got these great artists. They can go up there and bang this thing out in like a couple weeks, right? Let's find it. Let's put it up there. Let's make it happen.
Perfect. Corey Lewandowski, everybody needs to follow right now. Obviously, the energy behind the man himself. Corey, Godspeed, sir.
Thank you, Benny.